Today we're going to be doing lesson 7 of a 19-lesson series on the truth about personal finance, what the Bible and historic academic research say is the best path to God-honoring financial independence. Our guiding verses for this study are Job 22:21. Submit to God and be at peace with Him. In this way, prosperity will come to you. And from Hebrews 11:1, faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. And from Deuteronomy 8:17 through 18, you may say to yourself, my power and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. And finally, from Job 21:16, but their prosperity is not in their own hands. Today we're studying the emergency fund. Everyone needs financial margin. Our guiding verses for this particular session is from Jeremiah 17:7 through 8. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in Him. They will be like a tree planted by water. It does not fear when heat comes. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. And from Isaiah 47:11, disaster will come upon you, and you will not know how to conjure it away. A calamity will fall upon you that you cannot ward off with a ransom. A catastrophe you cannot foresee will suddenly come upon you. Take God at His word, you will have trouble. From Job 5:7, yet a man is born to trouble as surely as sparks fly upward. And from John 16:33, Jesus says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. From Romans 2:9 we read, there will be trouble and distress for every human being who does evil. And from 1 Thessalonians 3:3, so that no one would be unsettled by these trials, for you know quite well that we are destined for them. Take God at His word, you will have trouble. God is telling us to be prepared. We will have financial trouble. We all need margin in our lives, and having a fully funded emergency fund in place gives your family peace through financial margin for the days when things break down and need to be fixed or replaced. God is saying He wants you to be prepared, for we all are destined for financial trials. From Ezekiel 38:7 we read, get ready, be prepared, you and all gathered about you. And from Jeremiah 42:19, be sure of this, I warn you today. What is life like without an emergency fund? Isaiah 32:10 through 11 describes it as, in a little more than a year, you will feel secure and You that feel secure will tremble. The grape harvest will fail. The harvest fruit will not come. You'll lose your job. Tremble, you complacent, you who feel secure. While in Deuteronomy 28:15, 65 through 66, it says, if you do not obey the Lord your God and do not carefully follow his commands, the Lord will give you an anxious mind, eyes weary with longing, and a despairing heart. You will live in constant suspense, filled with dread both night and day, never sure of your life. And from Luke 21:34 we read, be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with the anxieties of life, and that day will close on you suddenly like a trap. We should say, never again will I be without an emergency fund. From Nahum 1:7, the Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. And from Psalm 55:22, cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. And from Psalm 34:19, the righteous person may have troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. And from James 5:13, is anyone among you in trouble? Let them pray. God, through Joseph, provides the first emergency fund. You might be asking yourself, why would God direct the first biblically recorded emergency fund? The simple answer is that Jesus, our Savior, was to come through the line of Judah, one of Joseph's brothers, and if Judah and his offspring died in a famine, the prophecies of Jesus' birth would not be fully fulfilled. This account is found in Genesis 41:15 through Genesis 45:9, the summary of which is as follows. God allowed Joseph to interpret Pharaoh's two dreams, that there would be 7 years of abundance in the land of Egypt, followed by 7 years of severe famine. Joseph proposes to Pharaoh to anoint a commissioner to take a fifth of the harvest during the abundant years and save it for the years of famine to come. Pharaoh thought this was a good idea and such a wise plan that he appointed Joseph to oversee the entire process. When he said, "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you." During the 7 years of abundance, the land produced plentifully, and Joseph stored up huge quantities of grain, like the sand of the sea. When the famine spread over the whole country, Joseph opened the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians. Because the famine was severe in all the world, other countries came to Egypt to buy grain. Excuse me. When Jacob, Joseph and Judah's father, learned there was grain in Egypt, he sent his sons to buy grain. When the brothers arrived in Egypt and bowed down to Joseph as the governor of the land, but Joseph did not reveal to them his identity. Joseph gave orders to fill their bags with grain, to put each man's silver back in his sack, and provided provisions for their journey. Later, accusing his brothers of being spies, he held one of the brothers, Simeon, in Egypt until they brought their youngest brother, Benjamin, back to Egypt. When the brothers returned with Benjamin, Joseph revealed himself to the brothers and asked them to return to Egypt with Jacob and all their families so their lives would be preserved during this world famine. $1,000 emergency fund. Over 40% of Americans don't have $500 to $1,000 saved for an emergency. Examples might be new tires for the car, $800 to $1,000. Appliance breaks down, $500 to $1,200 each. A car repair, $500 plus each repair. A plumbing pipe disintegrates under the concrete slab. In our house, that was $5,000. A well that goes bad needs to be re-drilled. In our house, that was $1,200. So $1,000 emergency fund will help you out of trouble, as recorded in Job 4, 5 through 6. But now trouble comes to you, and you are discouraged. It strikes you, and you are dismayed. Should not your piety be your confidence, and your blameless ways your hope? The blameless ways of an emergency fund, to begin with $1,000 emergency savings, placed in a liquid savings vehicle like a high-yield internet savings account or a money market mutual fund, where it will be only used for its targeted purpose, an emergency that your daily cash flow can't cover. Remember, a journey begins with the first step, and the first step to a fully funded emergency fund is the first $1,000. A fully funded emergency fund. You are likely to have financial troubles that reach well beyond the $1,000 starter emergency fund. Don't stop saving at $1,000, but fully fund your emergency fund with at least 3 to 9 months of living expenses. Why have so much money set aside for an emergency? Well, you may lose your job and have a hard time finding a suitable replacement. You may have an injury that doesn't allow you to work. And unless you have short-term disability insurance, it may create a financial hardship on your family. You may have a sudden illness or be overtakes you or someone in your family with the effect of rising medical expenses. The list of troubles is practically endless. If you want true financial peace, you will fully fund your emergency savings. A fully funded emergency savings gives you true financial peace. When you live as God directs, having a fully funded emergency fund and listening and acting on His guidance, you will have financial peace. From Proverbs 1:33 we read, "Whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm." And from Deuteronomy 32:24, "Have I not kept this in reserve and sealed it in my vaults?" And from Job 38:22 through 23, "Have you entered the storehouses which I reserved for times of trouble?" This emergency fund, once again, is either placed in an internet high-yield savings account or a money market mutual account. The money is not to be invested in the stock market or in corporate or government bonds. You want the money to be easily accessible at a moment's notice. Depending on how tight your budget is and how much debt you are carrying, it may take some time, maybe a few years, to fully fund your emergency savings. Clearing your budget of wants and deliberately paying down debt will go a long way towards freeing the cash necessary to fund your fully funded emergency savings account. If you have the margin, automate the process by making a direct deposit into your emergency savings account from your checking account monthly until your fully funded amount is achieved. An emergency fund equals financial margin. Our conclusions. Take God at His word, you will have trouble. We all need margin in our lives. Having a fully funded 3 to 9 month emergency fund in place gives your family peace through financial margin for the days when things break down and need to be fixed or replaced, or in case you lose your job. Whether your fully funded emergency fund is for 3, 6, or 9 months of budgeted expenses depends on the stability of your job and finances. We read from Ezekiel 38:7, "Get ready, be prepared, you and all gathered about you." And from Nahum 1:7, "The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in Him." Action steps. Do you have at least $1,000 set aside in case of an emergency? If not, examine your budget, eliminate the fluff, and act as quickly as possible to set aside $1,000 in a high-yield internet banking or money market mutual fund account. 2, are you in the middle of an all-out debt reduction plan? If so, finish your debt elimination and use the money that comes available to fully fund your emergency savings for 3 to 9 months of your current expenses. Or if you prefer, use half the available money to fund your emergency fund and the other half to increase your retirement investments.